Good evening. My name is Jani Bunn. I'm married to my husband Brent, who's back at table 40. I'm mom to my bonus boy Jack, who lives in Cincinnati, and he's a SLU High grad, now an entry-level engineer. And I'm mom to Reese. She's 9, and she's a 4th grader at Christ the King in U City. I heard some cheers. I like that. And I'm mom to Nora, our vibrant, smart, fearless 7-year-old girl who went to heaven in March. Yesterday was actually Nora's 8th birthday, of which we celebrated in grand style last night at the SLU High football game. Of all the people in this room, surely one person was there. I'd like to start by showing you a photo I took of Nora fishing on Thursday, March 14th, 2024. This particular week was spring break and unusually warm. Brent was traveling for work, so I took our girls to our family farm, and I distinctly remember thinking, life is good. 11 days later, we would find out that our sassy and spunky girl had a rare and inoperable mass sitting in her brainstem in an area called the pons. The diagnosis, diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma, otherwise known as DIPG. Brent and I had never heard of DIPG. Within 24 hours, our oncologist at that time said to us, "Go make memories." I could not process this statement. That night, while Nora lay sleeping in her hospital bed, I Googled endlessly. Every article that I read was devastating. No cure, 9 to 12 months, radiation only, and that is just to support quality of life. I read nothing that gave me hope. We could save our daughter's life. I remember feeling shock as I lay in her dark hospital room thinking, this cannot be real life. In 2024, how can I not find anything that gives me hope? With that, we moved forward knowing that it was up to us to find our hope. Nora had a port placed, biopsy of the tumor, which is a risky procedure in and of itself. On April 8th, she started 30 rounds of radiation with daily sedation. Brent and I turned our world upside down, searching for treatment options, only to learn that there aren't many. With little scientific data, but more than any other option we could find, we sought a trial at Stanford. It meant splitting up our family, long flights and long stays, while we endured a grueling treatment schedule. But it felt like our best shot. On August 5th of 2024, Nora got her first infusion. The treatment causes intense brain swelling. She was very sick. She spent days in the PICU. It was brutal. But 6 weeks later, the MRI showed shrinkage of her tumor. At Stanford for her second round, so this was September, about this exact same time last year, our amazing child life specialist, Joy, suggested that Nora write a book. Nora dictated every word to the book that she titled on her own called Sparkle of Love. It's the story of a unicorn named Heart Lover who lost the sparkle in her horn and had to take a rainbow cloud to the hospital. It was her own story, just with unicorns, a castle, and sparkle. By fall, it was published, and Nora proudly signed books. hoping to give other kids courage when they faced hard things. Unfortunately, there is a reason that DIPG is labeled as the deadliest brain tumor diagnosis. It spreads like glitter through the brain, stealing physical ability, but leaving the mind intact. After Nora's third round of treatment, an MRI showed the trial was failing. The tumor was growing and Nora's status was declining. We flew our fearless warrior princess home on October 31st, 2024, knowing the reality of where we were on this journey, but we refused to give up. November brought much trepidation for all of us. Brent managed his job. He spent late hours seeking treatment for Nora overseas. I managed the day-to-day. We struggled with decisions on what was best for Nora. Should she return to school? Should she continue therapy? Nora was an avid learner who deserved to be engaged in school. Her favorite things to do with friends and family were soccer, taekwondo, so we wanted to do everything we could to keep her strong and keep her healthy. Keeping a normal life for Nora and our whole family was stressful, specifically because we had to travel multiple times a week to address all of her needs, mental, emotional, physical. We loved our pediatric therapist at the time, but the intensity of travel with her physical ailments multiple times a week left us exhausted and often felt counterproductive. It was truly taking a toll on all of us. In mid-November, I just thought something has got to give. We cannot keep this schedule up. I had heard people make positive comments about Ranken Jordan in the past, so on a whim, I called. Although expecting much of the same and not even certain that they would take us. Nora's needs were so great, and I had so little hope that this would be any different than what we'd experienced. I am up here speaking to you this evening because I am grateful to admit I was wrong, and I feel that our experience should be shared. My first call to Ranken, a friendly voice answered. What? I was like, someone actually answered the phone? And it was Mary. And unfortunately, Mary is not here this evening. She had a family wedding. I explained our situation, and she took over immediately. She got the proper paperwork. We were scheduled by Mary. We did not have delays. And it became clear in this process that Mary actually had a relationship with the therapist. I'm thinking, wow, I'm not on the phone with a scheduling team who has no idea who the therapists are. Someone who's actually in the same space. Mary verbalized their goal was to stack appointments so we could make as few trips to Ranken a week as possible, which was absolutely music to my ears. But still the jury was out, but not for long. The moment I wheeled Nora into Ranken, it just felt different. The space is open, it's bright, it's cheery, and they have the best fish tank ever. And it's my understanding the architect of Ranken is here this evening, and I also have heard that the former CEO of Ranken is going to donate, and he wants his money to go to the fish tank. He didn't want to tell the development team that, though. And guess what? Mary was sitting right there expecting us. I could not believe how Nora's therapist approached her in the lobby from our first appointment to our last. The gentleness and the peace, and making her feel comfortable, but also not letting our very strong-willed girl manipulate situations. She may have had a brain tumor, but she was not short on intelligence. It truly felt magical at times seeing them talk to Nora, our 7-year-old fearless girl. They didn't rush her, and they made her feel like she was in control. Therapy can be a daunting experience for any of us, but let alone a child dealing with significant deficits. Nora's confidence was very low. To have ample space to work, to sweat, to try and fail, and to keep trying, and then to celebrate these little victories was everything to her, and it was everything to us. I was blown away by the options and how important her therapist felt it was to give her the options. I learned quickly if I talked to Nora in advance of therapy about what she was feeling that day, or maybe if she wasn't feeling it that day, I could send our therapist an email. They actually read it before our appointment every time. So when we arrived, they were ready. I could update them on a weekend with a photo, mention a show Nora watched, let them know something positive she'd done or something really hard that we'd had to do at the hospital. And they always took that material to build trust, to show love, and help her get stronger physically, emotionally, and mentally. They were our hope. When our therapist found out Nora loved the pool, it was a done deal. Off to the pool we go. When they found out she didn't like to be cold getting out of the pool, they went to extensive measures with warm blankets and an extra warm locker room. They encouraged Nora's big sister Reese to join, Nora's best friend Marley to join, and anyone else special in her life. I cannot stress to you the difference our therapist made in her life and ours. Believing in our girl, loving our girl, and offering consistent hope and joy in a time where it was nearly impossible to find with such a devastating diagnosis. There were days where I left her with therapists and I found a quiet spot to cry. I was handed tissues by employees. I was given hugs, quiet hugs by employees. I was asked if I needed a private space. I felt their gentle love and support in this way. It was the middle of February when Nora's speech therapist suggested we have a team meeting. Her team was concerned that she wasn't having fun. First, we'd never been offered this, and we had been through a lot of therapy. So I was shocked. I thought it would take weeks to even get on the calendar. In a matter of days, the team had coordinated and scheduled OT, PT, speech, and our social worker. We get together and we discussed and brainstormed on ways to motivate her. Our therapist tossed out idea after idea. Ultimately, it was Brent's idea that we all agreed with. Start a sticker chart with goals for her to reach, knowing that the prize would be something Nora absolutely loved: Target. I think that's a daddy who knows his daughter very well. But not only would she earn a gift card for herself, she would earn one for her big sister, whom she absolutely loved and adored. Nora was motivated. She achieved her goals on Monday, March the 3rd. She was just as thrilled to give her big sister this gift card as she was to have earned her own. On Tuesday, March 4th, we canceled therapy. She was not doing well. We snuggled on the couch all day, and Brent asked her, Nora, we will take you anywhere. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Anywhere, Nora. Target. So we loaded her up, which was not easy at this point. She was barely speaking. She could not move her body. And we went to Target. She knew exactly what aisle, and she knew exactly what she wanted to purchase. And here's the photo that we snapped that evening with her new stuffy kitties. Two days later, on Thursday, March the 6th, we placed Nora in Jesus' arms. It was like she knew there was no way she was going to leave an unspent Target gift card. No way she was going to let me or her sister use that gift card. It's hard to find words that truly capture our gratitude for Mary, who, by the way, always answered the phone, every time. For Sarah, our social worker, and for our therapist. Brittany, Jill, Val, and Abby, and also Cass. In the final months of our girl's life, they walked beside us. They helped us carry her to the finish line of all finish lines. And along the way, they brought their own hope and their own light to our beautiful girl. Thank you.